my age. And we're asking you, please, to give him your fullest attention. So that is why I'm asking everyone to just put that phone away just for 10 minutes, okay? And we really appreciate that. Mr. Yaitanes has been a teacher, he's been a coach, he's also involved certainly in the Stoughton community with, he and his wife have a real estate team that is honestly quite impressive. So again, we're just going to welcome Mr. Fred Yaitanes. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Julie. Thank you, Mrs. Rockwood. Hi, I'm Fred Yaitanes. Oh, just a minute. This is my sweater, Stoughton High School, 52 years ago. All right, is Dr. Rizzi here? Nope, okay. Principal Miller, faculty, staff, and Stoughton High School graduates. There's a copy of this at your seat. It's for you. I hope you'll take it and read it from time to time throughout your life. Laugh when you can, apologize when you should, and let go of what you can't change. Kiss slowly, forgive quickly, play hard, take chances, give everything and have no regrets, because life is too short to be anything but happy. I'm a third-generation Stoughtonite. I love being from Stoughton, being raised here, graduated from Stoughton High School, and I live here. My grandparents came from Greece in the early 1900s. They did not have an education. They did not speak English. Some of you or your parents have been in the same position. Coming to a foreign country to live and not speaking the language is not an easy thing to do. So why did they come here? Because in America, the streets are paved with gold. That is, you can start with nothing and build a wonderful life. At times, I consider myself to be the luckiest guy on the planet. I'm the son of wonderful parents. I'm married to Nadine, an amazing woman, the father of 3 children, stepfather to 2, grandfather of 5, and I live in Stoughton. I've had 2 careers, both of which I have loved passionately. I was a high school teacher and coach at Newton North High School for 13 years, and for the last 35 years have been a real estate broker. That is, I help people buy and sell their homes. My advice to you is simple, that you seek out what you love to do, because when you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. It's not easy to come up with the right things to share with you because you're 52 years younger than me. And I know you're thinking, no way, he's not that old. Well, come on, go ahead, laugh if you want to. I'm not going to hold it against you. I thought today I would narrow it down to 2 things. Helping you to find what you love to do that makes you happy and never giving up until you find it. You will find potholes, roadblocks, adversity along the way, because no one goes through life untested. But the answer to these tests is a positive energy. Surround yourself with positive people. We will always face negativity, but if our positive energy is greater than everyone's negativity, then we'll always be moving in the right direction. Let me share with you 2 examples from my own life. When my oldest son, Greg, was a kid, we had him in piano lessons and in baseball. After 6 months of piano lessons, he couldn't play a lick. And although he loved baseball, in Little League, if the game was on the line and he was due at bat, they would pinch hit for him. So instead, he developed a hobby in making videos. He loved it. By the time he was a junior in high school, he decided he wanted to be a film director and wanted to attend the University of Southern California Film School. Greg ended up being the only student from the East Coast to be admitted to the USC Film School. In his senior year at USC, to do their thesis script, they gave out 5 scholarships. His was not selected. He was disappointed and frustrated and needed to come up with another option. He went to Universal Studios, and after repeated attempts to get an appointment, he finally got an appointment with one of the vice presidents. He was relentless, and no was not an option. He met with the vice president, who liked his script and told him he could make it on the Universal lot, providing that Greg could pay for the film and the developing. So instead of making it in a video or 16 millimeter that the 5 scholarships gave, he made it in 35 millimeter, which is what you go see when you go to the movies. After a year, he screened his film at Universal. Eventually, it was submitted to the Cannes Film Festival, where it was one of the 5 finalist films selected in the short film category, and from there, narrowed it to 2. Greg's was not one of the final 2. However, he realized that his work was a cut above. So he continued pursuing his passion after leaving USC, and he worked in the mailroom of a law firm for 2 years. One day he received a call from Diane Keaton, who saw his film and wanted to hire him to assist her in directing the film Unstrung Heroes. From there, he started shooting the series America's Most Wanted and eventually other TV series. 5.5 years out of college, 5.5 years out of college, Greg called me and said I didn't have to send any more rent check. Greg was hired to film a miniseries in Prague in the Czech Republic. He worked 18 hours a day, had meetings afterwards, 7 days a week. Early in the filming, I told him, Greg, make sure you take time to relax, get some rest, get to the gym, don't neglect yourself. He said, Dad, don't worry about me. Every day I go to work, I relax. I could never imagine myself doing anything else. I'm living my dream. He sent me a photo of the cast and the crew after 100 days of shooting. He said, look into their eyes. You can see how exhausted everyone is. Then look into mine. I could have gone another 100 days. Eventually, Greg began shooting the television series House, which was the top show on television for 7 years, and in 2008, he was nominated for an Emmy as Best Director. When he called and told me about the nomination, he said, I have no chance of winning, Dad, as all the other nominees have either been nominated or won multiple times. He was just going to enjoy the ride. Well, when they opened the envelope the night of the Emmys, they announced Fred Yaitanes as the winner as Best Director. Mike, my stepson, struggled in high school. He was going down the wrong path. He spent 1.5 years at a school in the woods in Virginia in an outward bound type program to help realign his priorities and focus back on graduating high school. He did physical labor projects and had to earn the right to go back to the classroom. He then finished his senior year in a private school in Central Mass where he had a weekly report card to be sure he remained on track to get where all of you are now. He tried college. It was not for him. He started 2 businesses, each of which failed. One day, purely by chance, he took an aptitude test. He found he had an aptitude in computer-aided design, or CAD as it's called. He enrolled at ITT Tech, graduated 2 years later. He had 39 A's and a B+. He was the valedictorian of his class. Mike now designs trampoline parks throughout the United States, loves what he does, and can't believe how fast the days go, because when you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. How many of you have stopped and read each of the 30 profiles of the Achievement Hall of Fame right outside the cafeteria? How many have read? Have you ever read the Achievement Hall of Fame right outside this room? Nobody? Okay, one person. And let me explain why. Because I know several of them. They found what they loved to do, and there were no limits to what they could achieve. Do yourself a favor. Take a look at the Hall of Fame and read about each person on that Hall of Fame, because 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago, they were sitting right where you are. How many of you have seen the movie Creed? Right? Okay. Creed also never gave up, and you could see the passion he had for what he was doing. One of my favorite parts was when Rocky went to the mirror and said to Creed, look in the mirror. You're looking at your toughest opponent. You are the only thing that stands in your way. After that, Rocky began coaching Creed to reach his personal best. Allow yourself to be coached. How many of you have been coached in sports? DECA, the debate club, theater, in something. How many have been coached in something? Okay. In real estate, Nadine and I have been coached by a business coaching company for 24 years. We have taken every imaginable course in real estate. We are experts in real estate. If people are going to trust us with their largest purchase of their life, the responsibility is awesome. Do they want to trust it to people who do this as a hobby or part-time? Of course not. So besides our accumulated knowledge, we are coached as well. It helps to keep us on the leading edge. All of the best athletes, all of the best business people who do anything at a high level are coached. As a former high school coach, I always felt that coaching is needed no matter what age you are or what you do. Personal bests. Personal bests are what's important. That is, when you've done better than you've ever done before in your life. When I was coaching track at Newton North, I used to measure personal bests with every meet so my athletes could see their progress. That was most important, not whether they won or lost, but whether they did better than they had ever done before in their life. So shoot to be your best. How many have heard the expression, it's the journey, not the destination? It's the journey, not the destination. I didn't really understand what that meant. How many of you don't understand what it means? Some might. Well, here's what happened. When I was at Newton North teaching and coaching, we ended up winning the state championship at Newton North. And that taught me what it meant. The fun was in getting there, but we didn't realize it until they announced us as the winner and I held the trophy in my hand. Don't misunderstand. We were very happy to win the trophy, and that was the goal. But holding it and having it was not as much fun as getting there. The journey was more fun than the destination. I coached each kid to achieve his or her personal best and stretched them to get out of their comfort zone, which in turn gave our team its goal. We created a team concept from an individual sport because no one does anything alone. Coaches aren't necessarily called coaches. Sometimes they're people you admire. Sometimes people you want to be like, or people who influence your choices. Sometimes they're athletes. Sometimes you're teachers. And very often, your parents. By the way, when was the last time you thanked your parents? Having and raising children is certainly a very important thing to do, and the thing we're least prepared for. I tried to learn everything I could before becoming a parent. I read a book called A More Productive Child. A More Productive Child. The authors were from Wellesley, where I was living at the time. I attended their 11-week class and read their book. The thing that stayed with me was, in addition to having high expectation, there was something called the magic triad. They interviewed incoming freshmen at MIT to see if there was any common formula that they all shared. What they found was that the magic triad was the largest thing shared by the largest number of students. So from the time my kids were born, I used the magic triad with them. So what is the magic triad? A smile, a kind word, and a hug. A smile, a kind word, and a hug. I remember my son Jason asking me one time why I told him that I loved him every day. He asked me why I told him that I loved him every day. I told him that it was something I was always going to do, I was always going to do whether he wanted to hear it or not. I wanted each of my children to become self-confident and successful. I guess it worked. My 3 kids live in Los Angeles, San Francisco, and San Antonio, Texas. All 3 are self-employed, confident, and love what they do. Because when you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. So, laugh when you can, apologize when you should, and let go of what you can't change. Kiss slowly, forgive quickly, play hard, take chances, give everything and have no regrets, because life is too short to be anything but happy. Congratulations to each of you, and my best wishes for a wonderful life.